and welcome to Hi Now, Davey, the HiCap Takeover Show. I'm Rachel Picaro.
And I'm Lauren Trujillo. We have a great show planned for you today. And if you're an entrepreneur or business owner, this one's for you.
That's right. We're going to be learning more about HiCap, which is the Hawaii Capital Assistance Program. They give small business funding, loans, and support.
HiCap receives funding from the SSBCI, also known as the State Small Business Credit Initiative, and the program is managed by two state agencies tied to DBET, HTDC, along with HGIA. Now, I'm going to kick things off with two heavy hitters here in Hawaii. Of course, we have Jimmy Tokioka, the Director of the Department of Business and Economic Development and Tourism. Thank you so much for being here. He's also, of course, the Chair of the Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority, along with Trung Lam, the Executive Director of the Hawaii Technology Development Corporation. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Lauren. It's awesome to be here and to be in front of this show because, you know, with DBED, we have 17 attached agencies and divisions, and there's a lot happening. But today we're talking about HiCap, and we're talking about the programs that are in our divisions, and these programs help a lot of different entities throughout the state. And you're going to hear from a lot of the people today that programs were assisted in these programs. We're going to talk to Trung Lam. He is with the Hawaii Technology Development Corporation and all of the different things that they do there. As I said, DBET is big, and we just want to make sure that people know that there's all of this support out there.
That's right. I don't even know how you stay sane with all those agencies to monitor after, but I have to ask you, what's DBET up to right now?
Oh, a lot. Well, again, 17 agencies. If you're asking specifically about DBED, the stadium is one thing, but today it's about HiCap, and today it's about all of these different entities that are here in the studio, and we're so proud of them.
Absolutely. And of course, Trung, we're so grateful to have you here. Of course, pretty new to the HTDC family. Yes. So tell us, what are we celebrating today? We're talking all about the HiCap program.
Sure. HTDC is part of DBED. We're part of the Ohana, and we focus on growing the tech sector here. So we are proud to lead the $62 million HiCap program, funded through the U.S. Treasury, through the American Rescue Fund Act. And it is a program that provides capital to small businesses through 4 different programs. 3 of the programs are loan programs, and they are administered by our sister agency, HGIA. And the 4th program is an invest program that we administer, and that provides investments to venture capital.
Wow. I mean, the amount of things that you guys are doing in the community is really huge. Now, I have to ask you, what are some of the impacts for the future as far as what you're looking forward to with HTDC, along with these programs that are doing so much here in the community?
We're focused on growing small businesses and trying to create high-paying jobs. So in addition to the programs we have today, you are also going to hear about technical assistance programs that we offer through a lot of the partners who are here today sharing about what their work is. And we just want to show that as a state with DBED, we offer a variety of programs to support and strengthen our small business economy here.
And that is so important. Now, I have to say, I've been a part of some of the stories that we've been able to feature so many different business owners, and to see the net of how much impact you guys have in this community is huge. Really, businesses that never had the grounds to even get started here now have an opportunity to build, grow, create jobs. I mean, how does that feel for you?
Pretty awesome. I mean, I'm looking at you, and right behind you is Melly James. So she's developed cohorts that have done great things in the community, and some of this started at HTDC. So we're so proud of what the organization does. We're so proud of Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority and all the work they do to help people with their utility costs throughout the state. And there's just so much that we do, and this is a good opportunity for the general public to just get a little bit of a taste of what we do, and we're so happy to be here and honored to be with all of our team here.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for kicking off the show and giving us a teaser of all that's to come. I'm going to toss things over to my girl, Rachel, who has an exciting interview for us.
Thanks so much, Lauren. Yeah, we have so many exciting interviews coming up, but after the break, we've got a fashion show. Plus, we'll chat with the partners that make HiCap possible, and we had a special delivery before the show. Thrilled to do business with small businesses. The HiCap program wanted to give a big shout out to Tailor Made Custom Catering for the beautiful spread at today's pre-show reception. TaylorMade Custom Catering is a loan recipient via the partnership between HiCap and Feed the Hunger Fund. For your catering needs, you can visit their website at tmcustomcatering.com or just follow them on Instagram at tmcustomcatering. You're watching Hi Now Daily, the HiCap Takeover Show. We'll be right back.
Aloha and welcome back to Hi Now Daily. Now, the HiCap CDFI loan program partners with the Community Development Financial Institution, known as CDFIs, to re-lend to eligible Hawaii small businesses, startups, and entrepreneurs. By partnering with CDFIs, the program aims to fuel economic development and expand access to critical financial resources for those who need them most. Joining us today is Patty Chang, CEO of Feed the Hunger Fund, the first participating lender under the HiCap CDFI loan program. Patty, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So the Feed the Hunger Fund is both here in Hawaii along with California. Can you tell me about your roots? I mean, this is 15 years in the making, is that right?
Well, actually, 18 years ago is when we started.
Wow.
But we were doing international work, and we were focusing on countries coming out of conflict and war, trying to provide women with an opportunity to have a livelihood.
Wow.
However, 15 years ago is when a Hawaiian elder, Auntie Puanani Burgess, stopped me in my tracks and said, Patty, it's time to bring your work home.
Wow.
And home, for me, as it always is Hawaii, where I was born and raised, and California, where I have spent a vast majority of my adult life.
Wow, well, congratulations for bringing it back home and creating all that you've created. Now, I have to ask you, what is your kind of sweet spot for lending?
Well, we actually lend anywhere from $5,000 to over $1 million now.
Wow.
And we do it in partnership, thank goodness, with HiCap and others in the state of Hawaii. But our sweet spot really is the business that is passionate about what they're doing and want to give back to their community, as well as being willing to be resilient. Because as we all know, if you're a small business, you're going to run into hurdles.
I love to hear that. What pops out to me is heart. And I think that is so Hawaii, that is so rooted in our community. So I love that that's a foundation and principle of what you do. I have to ask, in addition to loans, are there other things that you offer?
We also offer grants.
Okay.
And we did to a number of our small businesses on Maui after the fires, unfortunately. but we provide a lot of technical assistance, both pre-loan and during the term of our loan, which is typically 5 years.
Wow.
So we might be working with the borrower for 7 years or so. And what that might mean is 10 to 70 hours of technical assistance.
That is so important. And I've actually had the honor of meeting a lot of these business owners. I have to mention all the things on the table right here. What have you brought in for us?
Well, actually, these are some of our 160 small businesses that we've been able to support in Hawaii. Everything from, well, I guess we should start with baby food.
Very important. We need local baby food.
Exactly. To ulu. And we are so excited to be partnering with some of our farmers who are bringing back cultural and traditional forms of practices.
I love that. And I have to ask, if we've got some business owners watching today, if they want to reach out to Feed the Hunger Fund or get involved, what is the best way to do that?
Please go to our website, www.feed-hunger.com.
And of course, it is on our screen right there too. Patty, thank you so much for sharing your wealth of knowledge, your love for community, and also just your growth that has just continued to have a ripple effect across our community here in Hawaii. I'm going to toss things over to Rachel. How you doing, girl?
Doing good, Lauren. Yes, I'm here in the studio, and I've got a special guest with me today. We have got Cora Spearman of Cora Adorables. She's got her fashion brand that is pretty exceptional. And Cora, I wanted to just welcome you in today. You look absolutely stunning.
Oh, thank
This
you.
right here is yours, right? This
It
is your design.
It is. This is made with our Suprema cotton. Cotton is only 3% of cotton is grown in the United States, and we have access to it. This is the Suprema cotton, 100% organic. We manufacture everything, source everything here in Hawaii. So when you support Cora Adorables, you're helping to support over 20 locally owned, mostly women-run businesses.
Okay, now Cora Adorables, let's take a step back for a moment and tell everybody about Cora Adorables and how you got started. I know over time you were able to take advantage of some of these programs, which is the HiCap loan and also Feed the Hunger Fund. So both of those were able to help you scale up and do more business here in Hawaii. But how did this all get started for you?
Well, we got started, actually, it's a crazy start. I started the company after I was diagnosed with head, neck, and brain cancer. And then as I was sitting in my cancer bed, I didn't want to focus on cancer anymore. I wanted to focus on something different, something to look forward to. And so that was creating a made in Hawaii brand, which is Cora Adorables. And I wanted it to be sourced in Hawaii, bring jobs back to Hawaii, as well as to manufacture everything here. So it was born out of, I guess, a lot of strife initially, but I wouldn't be able to do the business without funds like Feed the Hunger, who helped us not only to scale, but to build the brand.
Wow, incredible story. And to see that you are putting out fabulous clothing, the one that you're wearing here today, but also you've got a whole line that's going to be coming out in just a moment. But if you could just mention to us how they were able to, those specific programs were able to help you build your brand and really level up, what would you say?
Well, we started off, you have to always have a plan. So we started off with Hawaii Small Business Development Center, SBDC. Dennis Wong was my mentor there. We also worked with SCORE. Keith Ogata also was my mentor there at SCORE. Worked with Mary Dale with the SBA. Mary Dale then introduced me to the ASB. ASB introduced me to Feed the Hunger. Feed the Hunger then was there to help us when we started our co-branding with Peanuts at the time, but then we ended up launching with Bloomingdale's on the mainland. So they've been with us every step of the way. I always say that I'm like the black female Forrest Gump. Life's like a box of macadamia nut chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
All right, and I love to hear the journey that it took you to get here. All that with the help of not only HiCap and of course Feed the Hunger Fund, but also your beautiful ohana that you brought here today, and they are decked out in your styles today. So if you wouldn't mind bringing them out, talk to
for
me
sure.
about what you've designed and what they're wearing today.
Well, they're wearing the Monstera collection, our signature collection, we started the Monstera collection because there's a Monstera in every yard that we've lived in here in Hawaii. This collection actually is featured now at Disney Aulani Resorts and Spas.
Wow.
So they're our newest partner, and so we're so excited and so grateful. It's been a lifelong dream to be able to partner with Disney. Back when I was 14 years old, I told my grandmother, we were at the Epcot Center in Florida. I said, you know, one day I'm going to go to all these countries. It was Japan, Polynesia, Germany, and I ended up doing all those things. I ended up graduating from high school and college in Japan, and it landed me here in Hawaii, and the rest is history.
Absolutely stunning pieces. And I wanted to bring everybody out because I think this needs like a second go at it, like a little runway action. And then this is your family here today.
It is. My husband, Christopher Kalani Ali'i Chang. The shirt's named for him, the Kalani shirt. This is Zoe.Chang. Shout out to Sacred Hearts. And then also Isabel Chang. And then we have the bestie here. This is Tam Malone Reed. Her family is absolutely amazing. Her son actually just went to the Olympics.
Oh, wow. Incredible. I mean, stunning family. And I wanted to bring you guys into the light so we can see how beautiful these styles are. The colors just look so extraordinary. And I love that your daughters are just fashionistas.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're going to be taking on Mama's business at some point because they look so cute and they know exactly what they're doing when they're walking down, strutting their stuff. Now, if people wanted to get all of your styles, they wanted to shop, where would they go and how would they learn more about you and your story?
Coradorbles.com. You can also find our new collections like the Monstera collection at Disney Aulani Resorts and Spas. And then we want to give a shout out to our friends over at Threads Hawaii who does all of our embroidery. We source everything locally. We say think local, but grind global.
All right, I love it. So much knowledge coming from you, Cora, and your beautiful family today. Now, last question, you know, with what you've gone through with these different programs, what would you say to those business owners out there that need some help, additional help in scaling their brand and wanting to take things to the next level? Do you have any advice for them?
Absolutely. Always start with a business plan. With that will be your Bible, and it also is like we call it like Moana with the wayfinding. That will always be your starting point. You will always be able to find your way when you have a solid plan. Also depend on the state with the DBED. There's many resources that are there. Just do your research, but also always have an amazing mentor, someone who's gone the path ahead of you and maybe made some of the mistakes that can then share some of their knowledge with you. So mentorship is always key. You don't ask, you don't get. Closed mouths don't get fed.
All right, great advice. Thank you so much for joining us today, for showing off your beautiful designs. Make sure you go ahead and check her out and all these stunning pieces. Mahalo to your family for joining us as well. Don't they look amazing? We're gonna take a quick break and we'll be back with more.
Aloha and welcome back to Hi Now Daily. Now we have another HiCap credit program, which we have Gwen Yamamoto Lau, the Executive Director of the Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority. Gwen, thank you so much for being here. I first have to ask you, what is this loan program all about?
Lauren, thanks for asking. So unlike the CDFI loan program that Patty just talked about and the collateral support program that Taylor will be talking about later in the show, the loans program is a direct financing program. In those programs, HiCap provides resources to support loans that the participating lenders make directly to their small business borrowers and nonprofits. But in the loans program, we do direct financing up to 50% of the total debt amount side by side with our lender. So that can be in the form of a participation loan where we purchase a part of the loan from the lender, or similar to our GEMS commercial clean energy financing program, we can co-lend, and that means it's two loans. Co-lending mitigates risk for the borrower, for the lenders, and for the borrowers, the blended rate and term of the two loans are more favorable for them.
Wow, so mutually beneficial.
Mutually beneficial.
That's always a wonderful thing to hear. Now, I really like that you're helping us differentiate all these programs because it can be a lot upon just first understanding what this is all about. So what are some businesses that you could give examples that benefit from this loan program?
That's a great question because the loans program isn't just for any business. It is for businesses that will help advance the state's goals. It's for catalytic or transformative businesses that will help advance the state goals and facilitate economic development. Examples of that industries is, of course, renewable energy, clean energy, innovation, manufacturing, ag, and creative industries, to name a few. The loans program is also for those projects that will benefit many, but maybe it's a little bit hard to finance, such as the community-owned community solar project out in Molokai. And it's also for a project that you're going to hear more about, a very exciting project in the next segment. And so I encourage your viewers to stay tuned because they won't want to miss it.
That's right. Now, before we toss things over to them, I have to ask you, are there things about eligibility that businesses should look out for?
Yes. Federal program, so it needs to be, for working capital or that types of things that meet the treasuries as well as SBA. So if you look at SBA, if it's eligible for SBA, it's eligible for us. But for the loans program, in addition to that, it needs to meet that catalytic threshold.
Gotcha. Okay, and for anyone who wants to get more information, what's the best area for them to go for this particular program?
Yes. So visit gems.hawaii.gov and click on the HiCap link.
Okay, awesome, Gwen. Thank you so much. I'm going to toss things over to Rachel, who's on our Keiki set.
Thanks so much. As Gwen just mentioned, the HiCap Loans program is designed to provide financing for businesses and nonprofits spearheading transformative projects which accelerate the state's economic development goals and provide significant impacts to small businesses within our communities. And joining us today is Brian Gold, president of the Solar Ray Corporation. How's it going?
Going great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I heard that you guys just applied for a HiCap loan. Talk to me a little bit about this upcoming project you're working on.
We did, and we're very excited to be opening up the first PV panel recycling facility right here on Oahu to serve the entire state. By 2028, there's going to be over 2.2 million PV panels that are going to be 20 years old or older.
Wow, that's a lot. And what are we going to do with it, right?
Exactly. We want to keep them out of landfills, whether it be here or on the mainland. And so that's exactly what this facility is going to do. We're going to break down to the core commodities, which are going to be aluminum, copper, glass, silicon, and polymers.
Wow, so you're going to break that down and then it goes into the recycling process, right? What's going to then happen?
So then the neat thing for us is we're able to work that back into our own supply chain. So under SolarAy, we have 5 operating entities, 2 of which are manufacturing companies on the mainland. And we make stuff like this, which is a solar water heating collector. And we have agreements to take the aluminum that we're going to take out of the PV panels in Hawaii and work it back into our supply chain. So our supply chain for what we manufacture in California and in Florida can be from the recycled aluminum and copper.
Wow, incredible. Now, I got to ask, are there other facilities that are doing something that you guys are doing?
Not really. This will be the first in Hawaii dedicated specifically to PV panels. There's a really robust network of metals recyclers, other e-waste recyclers, and they do a really great job at those industries. And this is kind of right in between. It's a niche. And so we're a 50-year-old renewable energy company here in Hawaii, which we're really proud of. It's our 50th anniversary. And so we're uniquely, thank you. We're uniquely situated to help solve the problem.
Wow, okay, congratulations on the 50. Looking to the next 50, what do you see yourselves doing? Oh, already you guys are doing amazing things for the community. You mentioned all those millions going back into recycling, and then you're putting this out. So I can't imagine what's next.
Well, a lot of recycling. We're also modernizing our manufacturing facilities on the mainland to make sure our products that we make are ready for the next generation of deployments. And then, believe it or not, it's pretty hard to get raw materials onto our rooftops here in Hawaii. And so just staying in touch with our customers, it takes a lot of support for financing, logistics support, design services, engineering, and we want to work with our customers to make sure that we're offering a comprehensive package of those services.
Yes, and when you say we, it's you and all of your employees, because 100% employee owned, is that correct?
We are, and actually October is National Employee Ownership Month, and we were also honored recently by the Hawaii chapter of the ESOP Association to be the Employee-Owned Company of the Year, which we're very, very proud of. And yeah, we did our ESOP in 2014, so 100% employee-owned since then.
All right, now how does that, how do you go about, being 100% employee-owned? Does that, do you, I guess, manage the company any different knowing that you guys are 100% employee-owned?
Yeah, it's not like everyone votes on every decision, right?
Yeah, right.
But I think it's just, from a leadership perspective, it's helping everyone in the company understand the direct link between what they do on a day-to-day basis and how it links to the business goals, short, medium, and long term. And it's a cultural transition, and it hasn't always been easy, but we're really proud of the work that our employee owners are doing and just very proud to lead the team.
Beautiful. Oh, well, congratulations again to the 50 years and cheers to another 50. If people wanted to learn more about Solar Ray Corporation, where would they go? How would they get all that information?
SolarRayCorp.com gives you a good high-level overview of our holding corp, and then our largest company in Hawaii is Inter-Island Solar Supply, solarsupply.com.
All right, you heard it. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more of the Hi Now Daily, the HiCap Takeover Show. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Aloha and welcome back to Hi Now Daily. While American Savings Bank has been a participating lender in the HiCap loans program, its Senior Vice President Billy Piper is here with us today as a board chair of Hawaii Community Lending. Thank you for being here with me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, okay, to start, let's talk about what Hawaii Community Lending is.
So Hawaii Community Lending, also known as HCL, is a nonprofit mortgage lender that specializes in building, buying, and helping local families build, buy, and save their homes. And essentially, we provide access to capital for groups of folks who historically have been overlooked, and our focus has really been the Native Hawaiian community.
Wow. Well, you talk about focus. Can you talk to me about current projects that you guys are working on? What does that look like for you?
Sure. So you're familiar with what happened in Lahaina, and we stood up the Lahaina Homeowner Recovery Program, where HCL deploys capital to help families prevent foreclosure and rebuild. And you're aware of the federal shutdown, and so there are several Hawaii families that they're not working. And so what we also stood up was a forbearance program. Hawaii Community Lending's portfolio, we actually have 10% of our homeowners work for the federal government. So what we did was decided to just say, hey, stop, we'll pause payments. Once you get back on your feet, you get back to work, then we'll figure out, we'll extend the term and figure out when to resume payments. And lastly, we are ongoing things like our construction loan program. It's related to HiCap, in fact, is, our construction loan program, we provide financing for Hawaiian homeland beneficiaries with a vacant lease to land to actually build their home. We're partnering with HiCap to actually allow or to deploy capital to general contractors who are building these homes. Wow. So not only are we providing financing from HCL to the families to purchase and build, but we're providing it to the general contractors to increase capacity so they can do more of it.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, that's the current things that you guys are working on. When it comes to the future, what are you guys looking to be doing? And if you can expand on that as well.
Speaking of Department of Hawaiian Homelands, they've partnered with HCL to allocate $10 million to help families, Department of Hawaiian Homeland beneficiaries, get current with their mortgage. We're seeing many Hawaiian families go past due. They are past due on their mortgage. They haven't paid property tax, HOA fees. And so this program DHHL has partnered with HCL on is to deploy capital to these families, $30,000 a pop, to get them back up to speed, get them on their feet so that they can have a fresh start.
Wow. Well, when you're talking about these different programs, when it comes to eligibility, what does that look like? Who can take advantage of these programs?
So typically I don't want to get too much into the details, but there's an income limitation. But I'd say this program is scheduled to launch in January. If folks are interested, on the website we have an interest link that they can learn more, and then you can find out whether or not you're eligible. But typically it's 80% and below AMI or area median income, and so we're excited to get this capital out. It's going to start in January.
Awesome. Now, last question is, what motivates you to serve on the HCL board?
Local families are leaving. The fabric of our community is changing in front of our eyes. And this, quite frankly, can't continue to happen on our watch. And so when you think about HCL's motto, it's we don't say no, we say how. And I feel like Hawaii, Native Hawaiians in particular, we're good at saying no. We're good at stopping things. And sometimes we need to stop things. But we need more people focusing on the how. And HCL has been dedicating the last 22 years in doing just that, of finding innovative solutions to get people, provide opportunities for people to stay and thrive in Hawaii, especially Native Hawaiian families. So grateful to serve on this board.
That's absolutely incredible. I love to hear it. It's the how. How can you serve, right? Yeah. What can we do? Thank you so much for joining me today. Loved all the information. Hawaii Community Lending. All the information will be online, hinowdaily.com. And now we are going to send things over to Lauren Taruya.
That's right, Rachel. Now, the Hawaii Small Business Development Center is one of HiCap technical assistant partners that provides legal, accounting, and financial advisory services to companies who intend to participate in the HiCap or any other federal program that supports small businesses. So joining us today is Joe Burns, the State Director from the Hawaii Small Business Development Center. Joe, I'm so happy that you're here with us today.
Thank you.
We're breaking things down for people to really understand what you're doing. So I have to ask you, with HIS BDC, how are you helping businesses truly navigate their funding and opportunities?
Well, yes, there's several considerations, Lauren, when you talk about getting a loan or lending, whether that's HiCap or whether it's another program. And the first one really is why? Why are you borrowing money? Because you need to borrow it for the right reason. So one example would be, we've had clients that have had, let's say, cash flow problems, and they want to borrow money, but they don't go to a deeper level and say, why are they having problems with their cash flow? Because if you can address those problems successfully, in a lot of cases we can, maybe they don't need to borrow money, or maybe they don't need to borrow so much money. So that's really the first consideration. And then once we get beyond that point, when they do have a need to borrow money, the next part is really identifying which program meets their needs. So HiCap is great because it has very specific programs for certain companies. But if not, there are many other programs as well. Of course, the federal government has SBA, USDA, the state with DBED has their community-based economic development loan. There's agricultural loans from the Ag Department. So there's really many, many that could fit, but our role is to try to help the client understand what is appropriate for their particular situation. And then the third part of that is, once we decide on a path forward, what is the application process going to be like with the bank? What are they going to ask for? How do they put that whole package together so that the bank has the information that they need to do their underwriting? And for some people, they can do that, that's fine, it's no problem, but other people, it's a little bit daunting because there's a lot of paperwork. A business plan may be involved, there could be a business model, picture, financial projections, and we do all of those things for our clients at no cost.
Wow, and that is phenomenal, because I'm sure when people are at the starting block, they're just like, what's my first step? Exactly. And it sounds like you're really crucial in helping people figure out the direction of that first step. Now, how does the program Senior Business Advisor really help business owners?
Great question. So we usually start with the strategy that a business has. And a lot of times they don't have a strategy, or the strategy is in their head. It's not a written down actual strategy. So we go back to that step. And that really came out during COVID because so many people had to pivot. We would go back and say, what was your old strategy, and now what can you do for a new strategy, because it's a totally different reality. Right? So we always take that step in the beginning, is to look at strategy first. And once you have that, then you've got a path to becoming more profitable or accomplishing what you want to accomplish, expansion, take advantage of an opportunity, hire more people, exporting, whatever it is. But it has to start from a strategy. And so that's what our advisors will do, sit with the client one-on-one just like this and ask those questions that maybe is locked up in the client's head and they've never really gotten it out on paper or verbalized it, and you'll be able to have that path forward to be successful. And so that's really the first thing that we do. And that really dictates everything else.
Okay.
It might involve sales and marketing, it might involve human resource management, it might involve process improvement, it might involve any of these kinds of things. Especially financial management is an area that we find that people need help with because they just haven't been trained in it. So we do a lot of work in that area as well, which is why it fits in so well with what the HiCap program is doing.
That's phenomenal. So once you have the strategy all figured out, what other things and services are you offering?
Well, I just mentioned a few of them in terms of some of the areas that we get into. But it really depends on what stage the business is at.
Okay.
Right? So if a business is just starting out, they might be more concerned with things such as their value proposition or creating a business model that they can look at that brings together all the elements of their business to really see it. Maybe it's a business plan. So those kinds of things would apply to people just starting. But for people that are more established, it tends to be a little bit more narrow focus in terms of an opportunity or a challenge. Just talked about COVID or the Maui fires. We were involved with, and still are, with assisting those businesses. And so it really depends on what stage the business is at, and that will dictate what sort of services that we offer. You know, a business that the owner wants to sell the business, that's an exit stage, and that's very different than obviously
Somebody
everything
that's
else.
just getting started.
Yeah.
That is so phenomenal. Well, Joe, thank you so much for walking us through, you know, all the different stages that a business might be in, all the different ways that they could benefit. Of course, training, learning programs, figuring out their strategy. And of course, you guys can go to our website for all this information. Joe is also a wealth of knowledge, but we'll have so much more up on the show. You're watching Hi Now Daily, and we'll be right back. Aloha and welcome back to Hi Now Daily. Now, the HiCap Collateral Support Program provides collateral in the form of cash to support a loan and help bridge the access to capital gap for small businesses and nonprofits. Central Pacific Bank was the HiCap program's first participating lender, and we're going to talk story with Taylor Kirihara, the Senior Vice President of Central Pacific Bank. Taylor, first of all, congratulations for being the first lender in this program. Tell me about it.
Yeah, no, thank you, Lauren. You know, being the first lender in the program locally is something Central Pacific Bank is really proud of. And really what it allows us to do is to reach a broader spectrum of businesses, right? Maybe businesses that might have challenges getting traditional financing. This HiCap program allows us to find ways to finance them with support from the collateral that they provide. So we're really happy to be a part of it.
It's really about giving small businesses that first opportunity, that opening the door for them.
Absolutely.
CPB, I feel like, does such a good job with that. Why is supporting small businesses such a pillar of CPB?
Yeah, I mean, Central Pacific Bank has always been a small business focused bank. You know, it is, like you said, one of our pillars, right? And so really what we want to do is focus on those businesses who really make up the heart, right, of our business community, right? And, you know, a big part of it is they're the majority, right? 99% of our businesses, of our businesses are small businesses, right? They employ, you know, half the workforce, right? They produce innovation, right? They produce opportunities, right? And really being able to support that is what Central Pacific Bank wants to do.
Absolutely. We're just seeing some footage right now. I got to visit Urban Soccer, who is one of the beneficiaries of the loan that they were able to receive, and I was just blown away. You know, when we were there, it was pouring rain outside, and so it really showed me how important it is to have spaces like that so children can continue to play, learn, grow, and it's so wonderful to see, you know, banks banks, organizations like you pouring into the community to really allow for businesses like that to succeed. Now, I have to ask, CPB's Business Express platform, what is that and what does it do to help?
Yeah, so our Business Express loan platform is actually one of the first small business focused online loan platforms. And really, it's to expedite things, right? Businesses, we can give approvals in as little as 3 days. It's online. You can apply for this via your phone, via your computer, right? For loans and lines of credit up to $50,000.
Holy smokes, that's incredibly impactful. So Taylor, where do people go if they want to take advantage of that?
Yeah, so you can visit our website at www.cpb.bank, that's BANK, not com, to find out more about that.
Awesome. And I have to ask you, for any small business that is afraid of taking that first step, what would you tell them?
These entrepreneurs, you have to be built a certain way, right? And if you don't take that first step, you can't get to your last step, right? And that success and finding the partners, whether it be a bank, whether it be HiCap, whether it be all these other programs we're talking about today, they're all really meant to set people up for success. And really, Central Pacific Bank, we want to see that success because what does it ultimately do? Strengthens our economy, strengthens our state, strengthens our friends, our neighbors, and everybody around us. So
beautiful. Thank you so much, Taylor. We're so grateful for the work that you do here in our community. And of course, you can go to our website for all that information. You're watching Hi Now Daily. It's the HiCap Takeover Show. We'll be right back.
Aloha and welcome back to Hi Now Daily. The Hawaii Small Business Development Center is one of the HiCap venture capital partners that invest in local Hawaii startups. And joining us today, we have Tan La, HTDC's HiCap manager, along with Melly James, co-founder of Mana Up and Mana Up Capital. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Rachel.
All right, now let's start with you, Tan. Let's talk about HiCap venture and investment. Tell me a little bit about that and what you folks are investing in.
Yeah, I'd love to tell you more about it. So our HiCap Invest program is our venture fund of funds. Basically, that means that we invest in venture capital funds with a mandate that they in turn have to invest in local Hawaii companies.
Okay. Now, who are you guys investing in these days?
So far, we have 4 investments. So we have Startup Capital. These invest in fintech and software. And then we have Blue Startups. They're kind of a consumer and a travel tech company, or a focus fund. And then we also have Hatch on the Big Island. They do aquaculture and ocean economy. And then we have our newest investment in Mana Up Capital with Melly James.
All right, we're very familiar with Mana Up. Melly, of course, you've been on the show multiple times. Talk to us a little bit about the Mana Up Capital and when that got started.
Yeah, so Mana Up Capital is the next evolution of what we've built at Mana Up. It's a venture capital fund that really focuses on high growth, Hawaii-based consumer product companies that are ready and interested in scaling to global markets and national markets. So really it's, when we built Mana Up, we started with the accelerator, then we have the resources, mentorship. We always knew capital would be a big part of it. So about 4 years into the accelerator, we launched our first venture capital fund. And now, of course, we got Mana Up Capital too. And it's been huge to have HGC involved. They've really unlocked a lot of growth capital opportunities, especially for these companies that are needing capital to really scale part of diversification efforts of our economy around jobs, revenue, opportunity, and all the other good things.
Nice. Now, we're talking about some of the businesses that you guys are investing in. Talk to me about Kohana Rum. That's one of the big ones that you're really interested in.
Yes, and that's obviously why we're the last segment here. We're going to tap into all these bottles when
Yes,
we're done,
leave the
obviously.
limit.
We can't leave until they're done. So yes, Kohana Rum is a wonderful example of a company that is sourcing local ingredients, really local craftsmanship that is able to scale to global markets. So it's really exciting. We were able to invest in this company. They're based in Kunia, local native Hawaiian sugarcane. We also invested in Big Island Coffee Roasters, which is another great example. They're based in the Big Island, sourcing, of course, local coffee and really winning global awards, even Best Hotel Coffee in the World by Condé Nast.
That's huge. So supporting the local businesses. I mean, with the agriculture here in Hawaii, with Kohana, we've visited their farms. We visited them in Kunia. They've got this fantastic space. But from farm to bottle is what you're looking at, and that's what they really promote. So being able to back these businesses, these small businesses, helping them scale up, that must be huge for you. It's like a success story, but from all different areas of life. And to see these businesses thrive is just exceptional, like the cherry on top, right?
Absolutely.
All right, now you have a lot of things coming up as well. Talk to me about what's happening this weekend.
So we have our Mana Up Showcase, our live stream and broadcast with you folks, which will be premiering at 7 p.m. on KHNL. We also have our Mana Up event at Bloomingdale's on November 6th. So we're very excited about the graduation of Cohort 10. We have 110 companies already now part of Mana Up, and really excited for more shopping, getting ready for holiday. We're also expanding our Mana Up Capital Fund 2 and be doing more investments with more local products with Fund 2.
Beautiful. And if those businesses out there want to get in touch with you, Mana Up Capital, they want to learn about these programs and how they can benefit from them, where would they go?
Yeah, it all starts with the accelerator. So it's a 6-month program where we work with local companies, and if there are opportunities to invest in some of them, which is what the capital is for, you can go to manauphawaii.com.
Perfect. Yeah. Sounds good. Thanks, you guys. You're probably going to be at the showcase there. You better be. It's fun every single year, Ton. You got to be there. All right, you guys, thank you so much for all the information. Yes, we're going to go to break, but come on back because Melly said we're going to tap into this. Yeah. Hello and welcome back to Hi Now Daily, the HiCap Takeover Show. I can't believe I've learned so much today. It almost makes me wish I had a small business, Lauren. Is it too late?
Okay, you're actually reading my mind right now. Here I was sitting, I was like, wow, they have a program to get your ideas started, for the training, for the learning process, for the borrowing.
Yeah, honestly, that's why I didn't start a business, because I didn't know that there was this much support. And I'm glad to know that there is an extreme amount of support out there with all the partners that you saw throughout today's show. So,
and it really just is so impressive, and I'm so grateful to be part of this community. You know, you have HTDC, HGIA, of course, DBET's at the hat of all of that, but really putting in the tools and resources for our community to grow our economy and just continue to get bigger and better. And what bigger and better way to end our show than showing you all the beautiful faces that we're a part of today, that made today possible. We have to head on over to our main set and just, mahalo everyone.
So much for coming. Oh man, so cool. Go ahead and head to HiNowDaily.com for all the information.